So I completely agree with that. You have to put on your own oxygen mask before you help others.
That's great image.
And that's the best way to set your kids up financially, is if you're in a good financial position yourself, then that's going to help them in the future as well, like not having to help you out in your older years. So definitely all for that. But if you are in a position to be able to contribute a bit of money into maybe a portfolio, or you like the idea of setting something aside, I think it's a fun idea. Pablo and I have started. We do $1,000 per year on her birthday every year. And I feel like it's a good amount for us, like that we feel like we'd be able to do that every year on her birthday without it being like too stressful for us. And any gifts that she gets, like I try to get my friends and family to give us cash gifts for her because, and this is something I'm curious to hear from you. What's everyone's thoughts on cash gifts?
You guys get red envelopes?
We do, yeah, because I'm half Asian and my half Chinese Malaysian background. I love getting cash gifts. I'm like, there's nothing better. Like you can put it to use, and I prefer that because once you do start to have babies, people will give you things, and a lot of those things you may not even need. So I feel like maybe it's time to start, if you're comfortable with the cash gifts, start asking people, is it okay if I have a cash gift? And maybe that's money that you could put aside for your kid or invest for them in the future. That's what we're doing.
And I think the legacy of good money skills is possibly as valuable or more valuable for them once they become adults. But these are lessons they do have to learn themselves, that I think if you go too hard on it too early, they often react the opposite way. Be very careful about, I know we're talking about babies rather than teenagers and older kids, but money for chores is a very slippery slope. That the lesson that you're part of a household, you need to contribute to it, can get muddied if you're going, look, I'm going to pay you if you empty the dishwasher or mow the lawn. Yeah, so getting the lessons and making it age appropriate. So certainly letting them have money and make their own mistakes is a really valuable lesson. And one of the things that I did was I charged him rent after he left school, and I gave it back to him when he left. So there's lots of things you can do, but I didn't tell him I was going to.
Oh, surprise.
So,
awesome.
So understanding understanding what tax is, so keep 30% of their pocket money. That's not necessarily a recommendation, just a thought. But I do see people trying to teach kids about ETFs at 8 or 9, and that's just not age appropriate. If they're going to start earning money, they do need to manage it. And I think you do need to be aware of not letting the chores and part-time jobs get in the way of schooling. The most valuable thing you can do for your child is get them to adulthood with a reasonable mental state and a good education, and the rest will come, and good family values. Chris asks about investment or education bonds. That's almost an episode in its own right, and that's one way of avoiding penalty tax for the child and potential capital gains tax. It will depend on what the money's for. So if the money's going to be spent after they turn 18, for example, university or other training, then education bonds can work really well. If you're not a top-rate taxpayer, it can end up costing more. So it's very much an individual thing. We do have a calculator that we can share with our members, but it's not as straightforward as it might seem. And I think you've really got to start with how much and what conditions am I going to hand it over. Do I want to just to automatically be theirs at 18 or 21 or 25? Do I want to be able to control when it gets handed over? Am I a top rate taxpayer? Is it going to be spent before or after they turn 18? Lots of complexities. And to some extent, let's not overthink this stuff sometimes and just get started. And when you're starting to deal with a reasonable sum of money, like 5 or 10 grand, by the time you get to that level, then it's time to start thinking about the logistics of it. But I think getting started is 9/10 of the job, and building it into your budget if you're going to do it. But as Queenie said, fasten your mask first. There's a lot of people who have babies or are having it at the same time. They got the biggest mortgage they're going to have in their life. They're still early in their career. And so there's still a lot of water to go under the bridge. So be very mindful of that.